Alright, you guys ready to see the room? Let's go. Hey, here we are, good old studio. My name is HJ, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing a studio and room tour. Now, this is technically both my bedroom and my studio, but today I'm just going to be focusing on the main aspects of it that make this such a cool place to both work on my content creation projects, my coursework for school, and do a little bit of gaming on the side. So the room is basically divided, well, technically 2 stations, but mainly 3 stations. So over here on the left, this is technically station number 3, which is the bed. That's like for out of the picture because of when I'm in here. Well, this is the only room in the house that I can actually use for my studio and my room, so I had to combine both the two. But the other stations are going to consist of the desktop area over there, and this right here is my secondary setup, and this is for when I'm like working on like smaller projects, editing some videos and short form, or if I'm just playing a game and then need to quickly grab it to take it with me on the go when I'm going to campus. But for the sake of today's video, I'm going to start off with the desktop setup. That's not going to be counted, and we're also going to do the laptop setup last. So let's start with some of the cool stuff. So start up the headset stand over here. Now this is a Bugga headset stand, and this thing only cost like $10 from Five Below, and I got it when I first actually started using my gaming setup when I had first got my PC for the first time a couple years back, and it still held up pretty well, although the RGB rings around the sides of the headset stand don't work anymore, but it's still pretty cool. And then I also have these JBL Quantum 910X headphones, which you may have seen in a previous review video with my EDC items that I actually won this in a raffle. The price of these actually is $300, but because I won them, I did not have to pay a dime for those, so that is awesome. I have my JBL Dime headphones or earbuds down here. These do have multi-point connections, so I can connect them to multiple devices at the same time. I have a remote, 2 remotes. One of these on the right goes to the PC down here, which turns on the RGB and changes everything. And the other one goes to my light bar strip that I have going across the top of my bed over here, which is really helpful. The other thing that I have is storage. So I don't really keep much in here, just spare supplies, spare controllers, spare tech stuff that I might need for just general things around the house. I also keep my Nintendo Switch docked and charged here. And then for whatever reason, I found this Minecraft lamp at Ollie's, which for those of my non-American friends, this is just an American, basically bargain store chain. This is kind of similar to the thrift store, but it's not a thrift store. It's cross between what you'd find at a thrift store and what you'd find at like a low-income Walmart or Dollar Tree, basically. That's how I describe it. But it's a Minecraft lamp, and this thing cost me less than $30, so I was really happy to get it. And inside of it, this is no ordinary bulb. This is a smart bulb, so I can turn it on. It'll show white light if I turn it on right now. But if for whatever reason I wanted to have RGB, then I could have RGB and it would work just the same. Over here, I've got, well, first off, I've got my ring light, and this is for when I do live streams or when I'm recording. Sometimes when I'm recording podcasts, I'll have it on if it's at night and I don't feel like turning that light on. And I also have these hooks on my shelf, which, interestingly enough, you may think of these hooks are just brackets, which they are, to hold up the shelf, but they also have functionality to them as well. So every single hook that is a bracket for the shelf also doubles as a headset or umbrella hook, so I can hang headphones and umbrellas from the back of this and have it behind me when I need it for quick access. And then on top of the shelf, I have my secondary laptop, which I don't really hardly use this one. This was mainly as like a backup, so in the event that my Acer decides it wants to quit working or wants to break, I need to get it repaired, but I have schoolwork to do, I have a laptop that I can take with me in the meantime and work on stuff, or just do basic content in general while my Acer gets repaired, for example. And then I also have 2 backpacks up here because I don't have any space in the hallway covered for these. So the one on the left is the Targus backpack, which I reviewed, and the other one is the Terion Creator backpack, which is $100 for the camera backpack. But as you guys may know from an earlier video, if you guys watched that one, I actually got this for $2.75. That's right, $2.75 at the thrift store. Yes, I know how to bargain hunt. But that's besides the point. The point is, it's a really cool bag. Now I have my Xbox Series S. You guys already know how much this costs. It cost me $320 with tax included in the United States, and I think it costs about the same in Canada. Could be wrong. But this is actually really cool. I usually don't really hardly touch that anymore, but I used to use it all the time when I was building my Minecraft projects. I would have this being used for that, or when there's just a game I wanted to play that didn't really run well on my PC, because I used to have a 3050 and a 1650 back in the day. I would just whip out my Xbox Series S and play it on my Xbox Series S. Now, let's talk about the peripherals, and then I'm going to get to the desktop and the monitors. So this is the iBuyPower keyboard. It is membrane, and it is kind of falling apart a little bit. I'm going to get this upgraded, but not this month, because I don't get paid till the end of the month. So hopefully, by the time this video releases, and by the time the end of the month comes, I will have a different keyboard in here. This is just for now, because this is the one that I've had for the past 5 years now. It came with my PC in 2020. My PC was a birthday gift, my 18th, and I have not changed anything about this keyboard in the past 2 years. And I also have the only thing I've changed about the PC is the parts that are on the inside. The case and everything are still the same. And let's talk about the mouse. Mouse is third party, got it from Five Below. It's a Titan mouse, so it's like some third party brand. But I don't care about name brand versus third party brand. Razer, Logitech, Titan, Infant, which is the Bluetooth mic I have over there, my Acer. They're all just the same to me. I'm not a flashy person that if you put a Logitech or some non-name brand mouse I've never even heard of before in my life that I'm going to put the Razer every single time. No, it just doesn't matter. It's whichever is the lowest cost and whichever is the most cost effective. That's the way I go. Now we gotta talk about this microphone. This microphone is the Fifine K688CT with the arm stand. Wow, that's a mouthful. But the microphone is a dynamic microphone, so it's very good at canceling out background noise, and it's very good at picking up my voice. Now, I'm not using it for this video because this video is being recorded on my phone, but whenever I record podcasts, I have to use this microphone because the thing you have to understand about podcasts, because podcasts don't really necessarily have many video elements to them, at least they historically have not. The audio quality is the main thing that draws people. Whereas YouTube videos, if you have all the different aspects combined, so if one aspect is not good, you can make up for it in another. Podcasts, you don't necessarily have that luxury. Your audio quality is, audio quality and your voice, that's it. So anything you can't make up for, if you don't do well at it, you're gonna struggle significantly to grow. And that's part of the reason why I'm started using this dynamic microphone, because the audio quality for podcast is ways more heavier than it does for a YouTube video, because there's not much else to compensate for in other areas quality wise. So that's why I always use this mic. But I did used to have another mic, if I can find it, which is the Rode. And this microphone over here is a condenser microphone. This one I actually was also technically a guest. It was one of my family members let me use their Target card to pay for that, and I actually still keep it. I use it for my desktop, not my desktop, but used it for my desktop, and I use it for my gaming laptop now whenever I need to record something very large project wise, because my headset's not going to sound very good. Lastly, on the desktop peripheral wise, I have Skull Candy headphones. Those are over-ear headphones, so they're actually padded and they're for editing and listening in on my recording. And then I also have the Xbox controller, which is wired into the PC because for whatever reason, whenever I play 5M, the Bluetooth cuts out. The controller's still on, but the controller stops providing input in game. Weird. Whenever it's wired in, it doesn't do that. So to stop that from happening, I just plug it in all the time on my desktop. Don't even think about it. I just plug it in. And 5M, for those who don't know, I love to play that game. It's the best police roleplay game in the world. And you can say what you want about LSPDFR. I like 5PD better. Because you can play with other players, but that's just my opinion. Now let's talk about these monitors. Oh my gosh. I finally got the layout in these monitors that I wanted my entire life yesterday. For the longest time, I've had the 34-inch on a separate arm or on the stand, and a vertical monitor, the top monitor on the side. Today, for space and for organization, congratulations to me, that is no more. From now on, it's going to be vertical stacked. I have a dual monitor mount. I forgot who it's by. I believe it's okay. The old one from the 34 inches Vivo. I'll have to look up the one that I have and confirm it with the pop out on the screen. But it is definitely a very cool monitor mount, and I had some time and some trouble mounting these things up yesterday, but my dad came in and helped me, and it was great. We got it working. The monitor here is tilted down. Now, it is kind of funny because all of this is back here, and the reason why is because this can't go back any further, so the clearance of the shelf, it's like right here, and if it were just like half an inch, maybe an inch lower, the whole thing probably would fit underneath. But because that is slightly edging it out by a little bit, I couldn't push it all the way back into the wall, and so this is how it's gonna have to stay. But I'm okay with that personally, because if you look at my cables at the back, one thing, the cable management is not perfect, but it definitely does hide it that way, and it also makes it easier because all I have to do is just pull this thing out, and I can walk back there on my knees and pull out or add whatever cable I have to add without having to put the entire desk out and back in again because it's already out. So I don't have to deal with that anymore. But it's really helpful to have that. So the 34-inch monitor is 180 hertz. It is a wide Quad HD. So for my resolution junkies, that is 3440 by 1440p, not your standard Quad HD. That means, so if you took half of this, this will be 2560 by 1440. So basically, times it by 1.5, 1.7, it's 3440 by 1440p, effectively. That is wide Quad HD for those who don't know, because there are some people who don't know what wide Quad HD is. That is what it is. And then the one up top is a 27-inch, 75 hertz monitor, and I know it's not my main monitor, the bottom one is. It's weird. There have some people who have the 27-inch and the 34-inch, and they put the 27-inch as their main monitor. Why? I have no idea. Especially because this one right here is has no HDR, and this one is 75 hertz. So you can imagine why I did not make that my main monitor. It would be beneficial for running games, because as I'm going to talk about the specs of the PC in a second, these monitors with the ultra wide, they can be pretty taxing on your devices if you do not have the proper settings, so which I'm about to get to. So the PC, well, this is an iBuyPower, iBuyPower case, iBuyPower keyboard, iBuyPower design. The only difference is that on the inside, the motherboard has been upgraded to an MSI Mag B550. And the CPU is a Ryzen 7 5800 XT, 60 gigabytes of RAM is DDR4, but I do have a Corsair pair of sticks in there. That's RGB that you can see flashing around. And then for the GPU, I have a Radeon RX 6600, and that's an 8 gig card. So back to what I was saying about the monitors. That is why I have a hard time running games that are less optimized, like City Skylines 2, for example, because the RX 6600, while it can play wide quad HD, it's not optimized for it, and any game that does not have FSR or some form of fluid motion frames built into it is going to be low FPS, and in some cases like City Skylines 2, for example, or Blackout 6, it will actually stutter and render the game somewhat unplayable. So just keep that in mind. If you're going to do something like this, you're going to need I recommend base spec, get a 4060 or a 3070 or better. Or if you're going to go AMD, I'd say get a 7600 or a 7700 or a 7800 and higher. Do not get a 6000 series card from AMD if you're going to run wide quad HD, unless you're going to go with a 6900 or something like that, because anything 6700 or lower for AMD is not going to perform well on wide quad HD. I'm just telling you guys that right now, so you guys don't go out and buy a 6600 thinking you'll be able to game on that with this type of resolution, and then come to find out you can't. Just fair warning, you need to have 6700 or better, and 4060 or 3070 and better. That is the best way to do wide quad HD. Now this is my shelf over here. I have my diploma cover. I graduated for the first time last year, and if you've been paying attention to my Blue Sky, my social media pages, you would know that I'm back in college again. I just graduated last year, and I actually am going to graduate again with another associate's degree in the fall, and this one's going to be in cybersecurity, so I'm really excited about that. So wish me a congratulations in the comments down below if you'd like. But I will, within 3 years, I will come out with 2 associate's degrees, so 2 2-year degrees, and I will have a 4-year equivalency. So that is going to be awesome. You get it's better. I find it better to get 2 associates because you have different disciplines, rather than getting the debt and the 4-year bachelor's in one discipline, because in my opinion it makes you more marketable to jobs, but that's just me. But that is what the diploma covers for, that aside. And then I also have books. I have my charging stand for my controller, which the battery is over here, the rechargeable battery. I'm using the Duracell right now, so I don't have that battery pack in, so I don't have to use that at the moment. I have my coins, my spare tools, have some more spare tools. Why is my wallet in the shot? Guys, let me see this. That should not have been in the shot. But I also have some bins for storage down here. I have an old mixer, and that is the setup part 1. So now we're gonna go walk 5,000 miles. I'm just kidding. We're gonna walk 5 feet, and let's go ahead and talk about setup number 2. Wow, this is so anticlimactic. What am I looking at? Just the laptop, mouse pad, and the mouse. Only taking me 30 seconds at a time.
12
and
seconds
here it
later.
is, 30 seconds later. i7 13620H, RTX 4060, laptop GPU, 8 gig card. Boot it up, and here we go. Acer Nitro. This is the V15 ANV-51-789J, for those who are wondering what the model name is. Funny how I remember that off the back of my head. Unless you know I'm a tech genius. Hey, about to be the Tim Cook of the world. And then I also have this third-party mouse, which I talked about before. Actually, this thing supports a dongle, and it supports Bluetooth 4.0 and 5.0 for all my Bluetooth 5.4 friends out there. Yeah, you guys are really lucky you get Wi-Fi 7. Okay, but anyways, all jokes aside, here we go. Let me see the password. Logging in here, and look at this thing. Wow, that is a very dim display. Can I go up any higher? I'll forget you. Okay. we'll worry about that later. One day I'll just go out and find the $2,000 on the ground and buy a G14 or something. So yeah, and I have 2 storage drives, 1 terabyte, 512 gigabytes of storage in here. So I have 2 of those. I have I actually have some pretty good games in here. I have Destiny 2. I can actually play City Skylines 2 on this, and half the time I prefer to play it on this laptop, just because my desktop, like I said, likes to beat me up like a bully and give me a very hard time. But it's pretty fun having a laptop here, and for the longest time I didn't even have a gaming laptop. My first gaming laptop was the HP Victus, and I just got that 2 years ago. So the fact that I have a laptop with this much power in it now, and it's only been like since 2023, so yeah, about 2 years now, it's actually pretty phenomenal, and I am loving it so far. So anyways, let me know what you guys thought about this video in the comments down below. If I should do another setup room tour, this is actually pause for dramatic effect. My second one. This is my second one. So please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help out the channel a lot. But if you guys are interested in seeing some other videos, particularly gaming content, I do have a poll occasionally that does aim to grab feedback for these videos. So if you guys want to answer those, kind of does help me prepare for content and make improvements. So thank you guys for watching. I'm HJ, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.